Anxious to step through the gate again, Major?
Yes, I am.
We all are.
Would you like us to bring back anything special?
No thanks.
Groceries, new outfit, flatware?
No, just yourselves in one piece, please. Dial it up. You safe.
Welcome to the Jumping Puddles podcast. Be sure to listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and or YouTube. And follow us at Jumping Puddles Podcast on Tumblr and Instagram, and Jumping Pud Pod on Twitter. And if you want to support our podcast, please check out our coffee. Hi, I'm Sam, and with me are my fellow co-hosts, Tor and Ash.
Hey.
Colonel John Shepard's team travels to a planet to meet a hero, only to find Lucius Lovin, who play fights off Genii mercenaries to win the hearts of the villagers. However, the mercenaries soon contact Commander Augustus Kolya in order to capture John Shepard's team.
Dun,
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 dun, dun,
dun.
Today we're talking about Season 3, Episode 13, Irresponsible. And we're kinda re-recording this episode because the last recording got lost. And we're gonna try to make it a little bit more fun and a little bit shorter. We're trying to keep it short, we promise.
Less serious, too, because I think last time we were defeated.
Yeah,
Maybe a little.
a little bit disappointed.
Tiny bit.
So, we thought it'd be super fun if we did a top 5. I was gonna say best. Top 5 most okay things in this episode. And then top 5 worst things. Please, let's never do this again. And just kind of give our thoughts, summarize, and do our usual amount of yapping. So, let's get into it. Do we start with the most okay? I feel like it'd be kind of more fun to start with the worst.
Yeah.
Or should we be, like, a little positive? No?
No.
Yeah, no, positivity for dorks. Yeah, okay. So, let's rage! What did we hate about this episode? I mean, everything. But, I mean, besides that, like, details, you know? Well, I think we can all agree that this is number 1. It's just all the misogyny. Just lump in all the misogyny together. I mean, if we want to, like, split it, into, like, different clips, we can. But I just feel like worst part is just, once again, Lucius brings just the absolute worst parts of these writers out, and he's just not funny. Get out of here.
Basically everything we hated about Irresponsible. Irresistible.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna keep doing that. Everything we hated about Irresistible is bad in Irresponsible too. We didn't learn, and Lucius didn't learn anything from the last time.
Well, no. See, he tries to make a little joke, and he's like, now they're not drugged.
Despair. All I feel is
And then the
despair.
women massaging his feet.
Okay, that was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen on television in my life. The most loathsome thing I've ever seen, ever. My eyeballs were assaulted by that image.
Yeah, I think that deserves an extra point of, like, badness, I think. It's just no. I think we get the perfect reaction of John. I think just the way he looks at it, like, he's so disgusted, and I think he speaks for all of us in this situation.
Yeah.
100%. I think everyone who watches this episode deserves a Medal of Honor. Genuinely. If you've made it through this episode, you survived. You did it. This is the worst thing ever. It's really bad.
Definitely. We should just, like, make a medal.
I survived Lucius Lavin.
You know, it didn't survive Lucius Lavin.
Oh, God.
And the award for worst segue goes to Ash. Sorry, is it too soon to bring that up?
No, go for it. It's the best segue.
This is a silly episode. Just throw everything to the wall.
Why the fuck is Kolya there? And why the fuck does he die in a Lucius love in episode?
Terrible!
Why are these two characters in one episode? Why?
My eye is literally twitching. Twitching! When you set up an arch nemesis for your quote-unquote lead so well, I'm looking at you, the Storm and the Eye. Why would you make his exit episode mishmashed with quote-unquote comedy? The vibe was wrong.
Just not like the most like tonally wrong episode you could possibly conceive of. Like it's really baffling. And I wanted to say this earlier, but we got caught up in just diving into the Lucius hate already. But for those of you unaware, and we were unaware, but we discovered this the last time we recorded this episode. Originally, this episode was supposed to be shot elsewhere. It was going to be like in an old western town. And I think from what I remember that we talked about, they had to really scramble and find somewhere else to reshoot last minute because I think the town was basically inoperable. Like it was just like really run down, I think. And so they had to switch and they went to this fairy tale-esque village that does not fit the vibe of the episode whatsoever. Which I think also just adds on to like the tonal dissonance because so much is happening and none of it looks right and none of it feels right, and there you go. So who knows, maybe this episode would have turned out a lot better if they were in an actual western town. I doubt it, but whatever, moving on. It's so bad. I don't know why anyone would think to pair Kolya and Lucius. Like, literally on two opposite ends of the spectrum. You have, like, one of, or the most intimidating villain, you could say, for certain episodes, in Stargate Atlantis history. And then you have the silliest / most useless / the worst quote-unquote villain. And mashing them together is just mayhem, and I don't even like Kolya like that, but you know what, fuck it, he deserves better to go out this way.
No, literally, I feel the same way. He was great in The Eye and the Storm. Like, those are one of, like, the best, I think, episodes in Atlantis overall, for me at least. And I think, like, his character diminishes a little bit over the seasons, or I just, like, he's not as present anymore. But still, he's, like, I think it's partly also maybe the acting. He's just like, he's an evil guy, and it's played, I think the actor plays him really well as like just evil, but not cartoonishly evil, just like evil. And then to have him here like squashed up in this tiny town, as Sam said, this was not the set that this episode was planned for. It was like, even the director was really unhappy with how everything was set up, because you had like 3 shots that you can make, and then you had like the whole town. You had already seen everything. And yeah, I think a lot of that, I don't know, it's just like, it didn't work. Nothing worked. There was too much happening in the episode. Too many like worlds colliding in a world where it wasn't even supposed to be. You know what I mean? So nothing was lining up here.
No, not a thing. And it's quite disappointing because I feel like they were building up this one-on-one standoff between John and Kolya for a really long time. We had The Eye and the Storm, where it was clear that they were setting up this like very long-standing beef or animosity between the two of them, kind of making it personal. And then you had the episode where they were torturing John with Todd, the Wraith, and Kolya was very intimidating there, again, furthering their personal beef, their personal vendetta, the like, next time I see you, I'm gonna kill you, thing that they had going on. And for that to culminate in an episode like this was just really sad, because I feel like the Western thing could have totally worked, based on their relationship. And I think the sort of setting that they had to settle on was the first domino in the stack to fall and just kind of cascade into a big mess of an episode, sadly. I just feel like Stargate always balances the serious and the comedic so well, and this episode completely fails to do that. Like, they were trying to make it so serious when Kolya had the team locked up and he was going to start killing them one by one, and I just couldn't feel like any fear or like John in that moment because Lucius was right next to him being like, do you want a hug? Like, you know, it was just not, I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, the story was awful. I think we can all agree on that one. Lucius, awful. Kolya, awful. But also, like, weird ending, so it just feels so, anticlimactic for his big show-off with John. But also, again, I feel like the Genii are so weird. Like, why are they... I think we've just lost the plot, I think, with the Genii, with the Wraith. We've really lost focus, I think, because they don't really feel real anymore. I will say, I do think Common Ground kind of brought them back to that sort of, like, original, maybe, like, season 1 type of evil. But I think it's a little too late. Because I don't really... Season 2, I feel like... they are in season 2, but I just feel like I was already not intimidated by them at that point, because Layden was kind of in charge, and was just like, okay, no offense. You don't instill, like, a sense of fear in me, like Kolya does. And again, Common Ground was good, because they did that, but a little too late. And then the next episode after Common Ground is this one, and it's like, I'm not taking you guys seriously ever again.
No, and it sucks, because I feel like I think they were trying to make us care about, like, the state of affairs on the Genii home planet and, like, this, like, civil war and these coups that were happening, and, like, the balance of power and how that would affect Atlantis, but also, like, trying to make Layden a more sympathetic character. And I just, like, I don't know how other fans feel about him, but, like, I just didn't care. And so to have Kolya, like, still showing up and trying to, like, fight for the Genii and for his pride or whatever, I just, like, what are you fighting for? Nothing.
Again, like, the stakes feel so weird in this episode because it's so just, like, a mess. The story's a mess, the tone is a mess, because you don't ever feel threatened when, like, Lucius is there. Again, like, no offense. And then they expect you to, like, really care when Kolya pulls up and, like, starts threatening the team. And it's like, okay, but I haven't been caring about the stakes all episode. So you expect me to, like, invest in them in the last 15 minutes? Like, I'm not gonna do that.
It's definitely a whiplash. For sure. And it just sucks, again, regarding the setting, because I feel like a lot of the times... You know, it's a long-standing series if we're including SG-1, so these planets can all seem very samey in terms of setting, and I think a more Western-style place would have been a departure and more unique. Again, a better setting for a send-off episode because it stands out in that way. But yeah, so it's just really disappointing that didn't pull through.
Yeah, I feel like, I always wanted, like, more desert stuff from, like, Stargate, right? I feel like there are definitely a few memorable, episodes with SG-1 in, like, the desert, or just, like, in, like, a different landscape. Definitely SGU, because SGU, they frickin' flew out to, like, New Mexico to shoot the pilot, so that was like, okay, budget! So I always wanted that for Atlantis, where I do feel like we did get one obviously in season 1 with, like, the Wraith, when they were on that moon or whatever. But yeah, it would have been nice to see a different town. Tired of the forest towns. Let's switch it up a little. And it always is so confusing when they roll up and it's like medieval clothing. Like, it always throws me off.
Yeah.
I hate the medieval aesthetic. Let's get rid of it. That works for SG-1 because of like the Camelot stuff.
Right.
But I hate when they use it in Atlantis. It's just like, okay, we're in the Pegasus Galaxy.
Different.
This does not make any sense. Let's be a little more creative, please, if we had more of a budget, I guess. Well, see, okay. But I feel like we kind of already... That's all the worst stuff.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the big... I think that's all the things that I really have to complain about in the episode. Which in the face of it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's like very important things. Things that were vital to the success of the episode and its messaging.
We were... I don't know if we were pissed. I wouldn't say we were pissed, but I just feel like we were... like maybe fresh off of it because we had just watched the episode. I feel like last time we were like ranting. Well, I feel like this time we're like, you know what, we accepted it. We've laid out all of like the worst parts of the episode. Is there anything else to say really? Because on the worst stuff, I'd rather talk about some of the fun stuff because there actually is like little, like really fun details. I will say that I feel like it's an episode once again like Irresistible, where it's like I understand why people don't like it. However, from like in editing or like just someone who enjoys like little character moments, like it is a really fun episode because I think there's just so many fun little bits. Like I have to just give kudos to Jason. I think Jason was so good in this episode. I loved Ronan's whole deal.
Yeah, from the jump, like even from the opening, he was so great. When they're discussing their heroes, his story was so heartwarming and he was so happy to share with the group. And I really thought it said something that he chose someone that was like real, that he knew and the fact that he could like talk about his people without being sad. It was nice to see that he was like healing in a sense, you know?
Yeah, his eagerness for it to be Esatidon was so endearing. I feel like he wanted to be Esatidon so bad. He was like, oh, it's my people, for sure. And I just feel like that kind of adds on to like maybe like his behavior as the episode goes on, because I feel like he is so done. The second he sees Lucius, he's like, I'm out of here. Like, he is so funny in this episode, from punching Lucius immediately, Lucius tells him to trying to go back and beat Lucius up and having to like push Rodney to the side and John having to step in. I think my favorite though is him crashing out on the jail cell. And I think wasn't there like behind the scenes that like Jason like actually kind of like wrecked, I think, one part of
I think he actually broke like the prison cell, like he broke one of the bars out of the yeah,
because he was crashing out. Just great. I always feel like we give a lot of praise to Jason for like his background acting, and I feel like this episode, like he really delivered on like some of like the little comedic moments when maybe like the script wasn't working. I just feel like his physical acting was definitely working. I also that scene is, I love the scene. I think one of my favorite team scenes. I think it's so underrated. But it's when Ronan is just down to kill everyone, and John's like, yeah, frick it. And then Teyla has to step in and be like, no, we're not doing that. But of course, the boys will be boys, and they are so down to commit so much murder, and Teyla has to step in as the true leader and reason with these idiots.
I just really enjoy any episode where Teyla puts John in his place. And she gets mad at him because, like, rightfully so. She deserves to yell at him sometimes, you know? And it was just irritation upon irritation upon irritation being piled upon her. Like, watching Rachel's face or her facial acting when Lucius was telling his story at the beginning of the episode was so good. She plays irritated at men so well.
I mean, she has a lot of practice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Teyla, amazing. And the fight that she had with John was actually one that I kind of enjoyed. It was a good fight.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked before about like Teyla and John and how whenever they fight, especially I feel like in season 1, I don't know, it felt like really, I don't know, those are just like some, I don't know if it was just maybe we don't know the characters well enough, or maybe like we didn't fully agree maybe with like one side or the other, but I never really enjoyed their fights, and it got to a point where I was like, oh my god, here they two go again, fighting again, right? But I feel like in this episode it made sense, and I don't know, I enjoyed it, and maybe it's because like Teyla came out on top, where I feel like John sometimes has won previous arguments. I don't know, but I just feel like I enjoyed it, and it definitely felt more, say, realistic, but they felt true to their characters, I would say.
Yeah, and I like seeing John's kind of selfishness being pointed out. I think he likes to play the hero, and it's possible for him because, you know, he cares about his team and the expedition over everybody else, but that also gets him into trouble. And a lot of choices he makes could have some serious consequences for the people of Pegasus Galaxy that he doesn't really care about as much as he cares about, you know, his immediate people. And so having Teyla kind of say that to his face and be like, you're going to get people killed for your stupid personal feelings, is kind of nice to have that acknowledged in canon, like by Teyla especially, who I also agree is like the truer leader of the group.
Speaking of, though, I also just love that little scene we get in the beginning of the episode where Teyla is annoyed at Lucius, and then Rodney is also annoyed at Lucius, and so we get like some really fun scenes of the two of them just glaring and just being bitchy. That's like one of my favorite like Teyla and Rodney friendship dynamics, is just them judging the fuck out of someone together. Like they love to do that. They have tea all the fucking time. They talk their little shit. I know, trust me, I've been there. Yeah, they've invited me. But no, I just feel like that is so true to who they are. Let Teyla be a little bitchy sometimes. Let women, you know what? Again, support women's rights, support women's wrongs. There's also no tree this episode. Like, it was just so great. I feel like she got to do stuff. She got to be a character. I also really love sort of like just like the team aspects. I feel like we've like complained a little bit sometimes, right, where like Atlantis doesn't give us like a lot of team, as in like Four or whatever, like you want to add Elizabeth or like whatever, Carson. Like moments sometimes, like sometimes they have like a scene together and then they'll like split off into pairs and they'll be in like the ABC plot for most of the episode. But that's something I do appreciate about this episode, is that for the most part the team is together, and so we get a lot of these really like fun little moments, like, you know, of them talking to Lucius and them having to hide in like his little weird sex cupboard. And then we also get that lovely moment of them stuck in jail and just hilarious reactions. And then, of course, the sweetest one is both Ronon and Teyla stepping up to defend Rodney and trying to say, kill me first, don't kill him, and just putting their lives on the line for him, which is so sweet. I love you, team.
Sadly, one of the worst episodes uses my favorite trope, which is using Rodney as like the emotional hostage in the situation and trying to leverage Rodney for whatever they want. Yeah, it was just so good. I love seeing them jump to his defense. Like, no, take me instead. It's just the best. And I'm really excited for the upcoming episode because we finally get to see more one-on-one stuff with Rodney and everybody, which is always scrumptious.
Team scene is so sweet, how just everyone, one after another, steps in front of Rodney, and Rodney's just like standing back being like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's kind of like his like shock and disbelief that also really makes the moment that much sweeter. So good.
But also I feel like he would also be ready to take the bullet, honestly. But everyone was just so quick to jump to his rescue that he didn't even have a chance.
John having to save his team too. I love that 3 of them were damsels in distress.
Yeah.
And John was once again soloing a mission. I'm not counting Lucius.
He was
and
not.
having to go rescue his team. I love that.
Honestly, though, that scene where John and Lucius are just like walking through the gardens, going wherever, and Lucius is coming up with ideas of what they could do to like save them, and he goes, "Oh, I could save myself. I could set myself on fire." And John goes, "I would like that. That make me actually laugh." And I'm giving it a point for that. That was actually funny. I think that was the only funny thing in the episode. But that was good. And I think it was improvised as well. That was good.
It really is improvised.
Yeah, I think a lot of that scene, because I think they ran a little bit short on the episode, so they were just like coming up with stuff, and it was like it was very last minute, and it was a mix of like what the writers came up with and Richard Kind, the actor himself, I think. So, all right.
I have another funny one. I have another funny little moment. It's one of my favorite. I feel like it's very like Whedon-esque. The whole "we're the good guys," and then the whole town just starts getting really upset at them and starts crowding in on them more and more. Funny.
It was pretty good, because in my eyes, they are kind of villains.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to them, sometimes. So-
Yeah, they think they're the good guys. And the whole Pegasus Galaxy is like, get the fuck out!
Yeah.
John being an adrenaline junkie, we've been known, but it's just funny when that side of him pops out. And his love for Batman. No, that was Rodney, right? That was Rodney, I think. They share a love for Batman, though, but I like that Rodney came up with that.
It's a very Rodney answer. I love it. Me too, Rodney.
Speaking of Rodney trying to dig his way out of the prison with a spoon. David Hewlett, you fucking genius.
And when he's like, if there's two of us, it'll go 2 times faster. He's like, no.
Oh, man.
Carson was there.
I literally forgot that he was there, actually. I wish he had more to do. I'd be like, he was just kind of there. No, he got to do some doctoring, right?
Oh.
Did he, or am I being crazy? No, I think he was just testing Lucius. Never mind. I do need real doctoring.
Yeah, I don't know. He was there for some reason.
I mean, it was neither a plus or a negative, so that's fine. Good for him.
Yep.
I think I'm out of shit. I mean, besides, okay, you know what? Actually, I can say one last thing. I just add this episode to, like, another, Mixshat saving each other list.
Yeah, my favorite trope. And I really liked how Rodney was so sure that John was going to come and save them. He was very like, he's going to come back, and yeah, which is always nice.
Very cute. Nice contrast to Grace Under Pressure.
Yes, he's learning. He's learning that people care.
Character growth.
That's right.
For Rodney, yay!
Woohoo! But yeah, I think that's all I can say positively about this episode as well.
Well, I think we found a lot, actually, for an episode like this.
That's fair.
Yeah, but like we kind of had to scrap for it, but it was there.
And I thank the actors for giving it their...
Trying their best.
Yeah, with the material that they had.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? I actually kind of like this style episode where we just kind of run through the highlights and move on. I feel like that probably would have been a lot more fun for, like, the tower, for example.
Yeah.
We didn't have shit to say. There was, like, 2 positive things for the tower. We were just yelling the entire time.
That's so true.
Sure, we'll do, like, these type of really, like, popcorn episodes, maybe. Just, like, really, really little, really short.
Season 5 is probably gonna be like this. And not because it's like the last season we're gonna start getting lazy. No, just because it's season 5.
We're gonna be drunk for season 5.
We're gonna need to be.
Wine drunk.
Yes.
We're gonna be drunk every weekend for season 5.
Yeah.
Does anyone like this episode? I wonder.
I think people might like parts of it, but I think just the fact, like, I think people like Kolya as a villain, and I think everyone just agrees that this was a abysmal ending for him.
Yes.
So undignified.
So undignified they had to bring him back as a ghost.
Yeah.
Right.
Season 5.
Ooh.
That's true. However, if this was your favorite episode, or one of your favorite episodes of Stargate Atlantis, or your favorite episode of the season, please write in to us anywhere on our social media or our email and explain your reasoning, because we would love to hear.
We'll be nice. Yeah, we'll be nice, I promise. We just would love to understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I have a super fun, hot, spicy question to ask you guys before we
Mhm.
end it, this little short episode. I was gonna say, gun to your head, which episode do you prefer? Irresistible or Irresponsible?
Oh no.
Ooh, this
This is hard.
that's so hard.
Honestly, this is hard. From like the jokes are not funny standpoint, I feel like Irresistible is a lot worse
Mm-hmm.
in terms of subject matter, so I want to say Irresponsible. Yeah. Like the only thing about Irresistible that I liked better was like the last man standing sort of thing that was happening, where like everyone was getting picked off one by one and then they're like trying to fight the mojo. That was kind of fun. And again, that's like a actor thing. I feel like they really carried in terms of like their delivery and they were funny.
They're bad in like very different ways.
Yeah.
So I think Irresistible, I'm just looking at my notes, and there's so much yelling of me just being grossed out and Lucius. Like, I think I was much more emotional, like angry and disgusted in Irresistible than I was in Irresponsible. So there, I think it was like on an episode level, or no, well, it's both on an episode level, but in Irresponsible, it's more like everything was wrong. Like, nothing felt right. Everything felt out of place. Like, the story didn't line up. By the way, sorry, I have to mention this, but the acting of the villagers was just not good. It was, I'm so sorry,
Forgot about
but
that.
That's
it
true.
was not good.
That's true.
I keep going back and forth which one is actually worse. I can't decide. They're both bad. I can't say Irresistible because that would mean that I like Irresponsible more, but I can't say that. And the other way around as well. They're just equally bad. Not equally, like, yes, like,
In their own ways, they're like
yes.
bad.
So they match up in the end as being equally bad, but they get there differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys.
What do you think?
Yeah, thoughts.
Sorry, I think I prefer Irresistible. Listen, let me defend myself. Is it worse? Yes. I'll admit that. It is worse. No doubt about it, it's worse. However, I will say, I think just the added bonus of being in Atlantis and having like a fun episode of the team running around Atlantis, and also just, yes, I don't like the context behind it, but seeing Elizabeth, Carson, Teyla, and Ronan act so different is unfortunately just too good for me to really like disregard it. I love this episode though, because I do feel like the details are also in this episode, like the little acting moments that like aren't necessarily supposed to be like big reactions, but are just because of the actors putting in the effort, are so great. But I just feel like, I don't know, there's something about Irresistible. I think it's just, again, being on Atlantis and just having these different reactions. And I just feel like it just makes more sense tonally, honestly. Which, again, bottom of the barrel. But we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, okay? I don't like Kolya's inclusion in this episode. I hate this village. Again, I don't like the background acting. I don't like the costumes. There's just so much more I have against this episode than I think I have against Irresistible. Even though Irresistible is worse in terms of like Lucius and his comments,
I'll say that nicely. And his assault, I just feel like I enjoy that episode more than this one. And that's my honest truth.
Honestly, I get what you're saying because I feel like you could skip that episode and it would not affect, you know, your knowledge of what's going on in the story at all. But this episode is necessary because of the inclusion of Kolya, and like this is his last episode, so you can't really like just not watch it. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, but yeah, you're so right. That makes it worse. The fact that you can't take it out of the show.
No!
without losing a kind of big figure is, yeah, that takes the cake.
It's unavoidable and it sucks.
I do feel like I really wonder just how many lists are out there with like ranking Stargate Atlantis episodes and how many have Irresistible as last place.
Uh-huh.
Because I think I would assume all of them. I actually can't. I mean,
Like,
yeah, no, yeah.
Irresistible or Irresponsible?
Irresistible. I think Irresistible, I feel like, because of how, I was gonna say obnoxious, but he's obnoxious in every episode. Just how fucking creepy Lucius is in that episode, I feel like people would put it lower than Irresponsible. But I just think, as a whole, I think Irresponsible is worse. I think
Yeah.
Irresistible, Irresponsible, and The Tower, I think we can all agree, right? Those are the 3 worst episodes of the show so far. So far.
Yeah, so fun. I feel like Irresistible, like, I think you might be right about like the list. And I think the reason might be that Irresistible is more rememberable than Irresponsible. I feel like it's somehow, I feel like Irresponsible is a forgettable episode, at least for me. Which is tragic, considering everything. like, that, like, mostly Kolya, honestly. I never thought I would defend Kolya, by the way, but here we are. So I think that's why people might rank Irresistible even lower.
Well, we're gonna do like a little mini version of our usual sort of wrap up. We're gonna go to Ash for the Bechdel test.
Yeah, this episode fails.
Okay, thank you very much. And then we're gonna go to Tor for the Fic Rec Corner.
All right. Because one of our pluses was some nice Rodney and Teyla interaction in the background of this ep. My Fic Rec this week is called The Machinery of Heaven by Torch. It's actually a fic that's set in season 1, but they go off world. They meet this civilization that has these. Their engineers are revered, so they have like a very special title. And all of the engineers or creators have to have a bodyguard, somebody who protects them from harm because they're very coveted in their society. And so, obviously, Rodney is their, engineer person, but he needs a bodyguard. And so Teyla, of course, is the obvious choice. And it's just so comedic and so funny and so wonderful. I love them teaming up in fic and on the show so much. So if you enjoy them together doing some fun stuff, you should read that fic.
That sounds amazing.
Literally what we always want from the show. Well, and then now we can just head on over to our ratings. Who wants to go first?
I can go, honestly. Because I think I might have changed my rating from last time. but I just looked it up. I think I gave Irresistible a 3 of 10 out of 10, and I think I'm gonna go give this one a 2 out of 10.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think for some reason I gave this one like a 4 out of 10, which I think is kind of crazy in retrospect. I think I was just blinded by like all the fun little details, but since we kind of speed ran through it, I'm like, no, this sucks. Yeah, I'm thinking like a 2.5 if I'm being like very generous. I'll settle for that.
Yeah, as much as I love this episode for its GIF ability, it's just like you were saying, Ash, I love the word that you used. An abysmal waste of Kolya's character to just be in this episode and this be his exit. Like, it's just terrible. And it's a sin I just cannot forgive. And then have another Lucius episode and it be still not good. Even amongst all the scrumptious ensemble stuff we get this episode, I need to give it like a 2 out of 10. Unfortunately.
Fair. I think we were extremely nice. Honestly, I think we could have been meaner. I think because this is a re-recording, you guys got like a very we weren't even mean. I just think we were like ranting for way longer before. But you guys got a very like nice summarized version, and we can still walk away smiling from this recording, which I don't think happened last time. I think we were like so genuinely upset by the end. So yeah, and with that, be sure to check everything linked down below. We have the beautiful fic that Tor recommended, and then we also have a Google Doc where you can check out all the other fics that Tor has recommended as well for the entire season. Yeah, and then you can also follow our Jumping Puddles social media accounts if you want to check in and vote on polls and see when new episodes are posted. And then we also have our fandom social medias down below, so you can check out and follow us and see what fandoms we are currently in. We'll see when is the next time we'll do another short episode, but I assume there will be plenty in the upcoming years. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Bye.
All right, you clowns, listen up. I don't often get a chance to say this, so savor it. Good work, boys and girls. Let's go home.